We'll see a few parts of what we did last time and then proceed further. There were some problems about the pronouns. What refers, what it refers, what there refers, what they refer, like that, you see. Let us see if we can sort them out quickly and then proceed further. Now, here, a finer consciousness with happier lines, it has a tact, our touch cannot. It stands, of course, for consciousness now. Of purity and sense, we never feel. Its intercession of that consciousness inspires our transient earth a brief light attempt and beauty and the perfect shape of things. Okay. In the rooms of the young divinity of power and early play of the eternal child, the embodiments of this, his outward winging thought, he is of course for child, outward winging thought, lived in a bright everlasting wonder stream and lulled by whispers of that lucid air, take dream-hued, lucid air of that place, take dream-hued rest like birds on timeless trees before they dive to float on earth times. You see, they are diving down. You see, I mean, the whole thing is there and they are now kind of ready to enter into the process of evolution. Whatever our hearts consume, our heads create some high original beauty, forfeiting, thence exiled here, consents to an earthly tinge. That beauty consents to the kind of things which are there on the earth. Whatever is here visible, charm and grace, finds there its faultless and immortal life. Now, its here stands for, in the immediate context, whatever. Whatever is there here. In the immediate context, it stands for whatever. Or you can go back and see that the entire description corresponds to a finer consciousness. 28.11. A finer consciousness. So whatever is here of visible charm and grace, find there, it's of that consciousness. Faultless and immortal lines. All that is beautiful here is there, divine, in that kingdom. Figures are there, undreamed by mortal mind. Bodies that have no earthly counterpart traverse the inner eyes, illumined trance, and ravish the heart with their celestial tread. Their bodies. Their celestial tread. Figures are there, figures. Figures are there, undreamed by mortal mind. Bodies that have no earthly counterpart traverse the inner eye, illumined trance, and ravish the heart with their celestial tread of those figures. Pursuing heaven. Pardon me? Figures. Yeah. Pursuing heaven to inhabit that wonder sphere. The future's marvels wander in its gulfs. Now, again, this its. Future's marvels wander in its gulf, in its, that finer consciousness. That finer consciousness. Things old and new are fashioned in those depths, those of that gulfs. A carnival of beauty crowds the heights in that magic kingdom of ideal sight. In its antechambers of splendid privacy, it's again that final consciousness, you see. Matter and soul in conscious union meet. Like lovers in a lonely secret bliss, in the class of a passion not yet unfortunate. Shivindu is mischievous. Shivindu is very mischievous, you see, not yet unfortunate. It will soon become unfortunate on the earth. When the vital starts coming into play, then it will become unfortunate, the class of the lovers, you see. If it is a psychic contact of relationship, then it will be joyous and beautiful and pure. Yeah, but if that element is missing and if the vital enters in, then it can become unfortunate. Then you have greed, lust, you eat upon each other, you see. They join the strength and sweetness and delight. They, matter and soul, of course, join the strength and strength for matter, sweetness for soul, delight, they together of union, and mingling make the high and low worlds one. Okay. Intruder from the formless infinite, daring to break into the inconscious reign. The spirit's leap towards body touches ground. So he is describing the involution. When the spirit leaps down, then he becomes an intruder in the world of inconscience. As yet unwrapped in earthly lineaments. Already it wears. Now this it, the intruder, only it wears. No, I will still say that consciousness, final consciousness. Already it wears, outlasting death and birth, convincing the abyss by heavenly form, convincing the abyss of its covering of its mortality, is again of that consciousness, because that is the inconsciousness, its immortality, allied to the lesser the wearer's rank, fit to endure the wrath of change and time. A tissue mixed with the soul's radiant light and matter substance, soul and matter substance, of sign burden force. Matter substance is sign burdened. There is the force in matter, and it is a sign in the sense that there is a kind of a future possibility which is locked in it. It is holding something in it which is there. Soul's radiant light and matter substance, they are the sign burden, matter substance is the sign burden force. Imagine vainly in our that force, etc., we cannot imagine. Our mind cannot imagine at all. An abstract phantasm, mode of mental make. We simply make a mental picture of it. It feels what earthly bodies cannot feel, and is more than real, this grosser frame. After the falling of mortality's cloak, now the plunge has taken place, the spirit has entered here. Now, at the time of the death, what happens? He is tracing that way. After the falling of mortality's cloak, lighten its weight to heighten its ascent. It's, again, I will connect it with the final consciousness. Lighten is its weight of the final consciousness. To heighten its ascent, to go up. Refined to the touch of finer environment, it drops old patterned pulse of denser stuff. Cancel the grip of Earth's descending pull and bear the soul from world to higher world. Well, that is how, sheath after sheath we discard. When we pass away, when we die, then we discard sheath after sheath. First the physical, then the gross physical, the subtle physical, the vital, the mental, sheath after sheath we discard, and then our pure psychic being goes to the world soul and take rest there. It assimilates all the experiences of this life and with that assimilation, it decides its future birth. Where, how, what to do, etc. It decides. And then it selects the proper parents and comes here. See? Lighten is its weight, to brighten, to heighten its ascent. Refined to the touch of finer environment, it drops old patterned pulse of denser stuff. Pulse. You see, he is again reminding of the shroud, etc. power of the body. You see. Cancel the grip of Earth's descending pull and bear the soul from world to higher world, till in the naked ether of the peaks, the spirit simplicity alone is left. So what remains is only the spirit there up there, you see, at that point. The eternal being's first transparent robe. So that is the place where it remains as a transparent robe, in its purity. See, at that place you see there. So he is describing the journey coming down, and when it departs from here, what happens? But when it must come back to the mortal load and a hard ensemble of earth's experience, then its return resumes that heavier dress, that final consciousness. Its return resumes that heavier dress. For long before Earth's solid vest was forged, by the technique of the atomic void. This is a very significant line. By the technique of the atomic void. By the technique of the atomic void. By the technique of the atomic void. That is 10 syllables. A lucent envelope of self-disguise was woven round the secret spirit in things. Well, that is how lucent disguise. You say, well, he has covered up now himself completely. When he's taking the birth, you see, was woven round the secret spirit in things. The subtle realms from those bright sheets are made. So these sheets which are there, all the subtle realms from these sheets they are made, you see. The subtle rain from those bright sheets are made. Now, this, as I told you last time, by the technique of the atomic void, I think he is talking about the Sankhya process by which the materialization takes place. By the Sankhya process by which the materialization takes place. You see, how does the spiritual become the material or physical? Spiritual becoming material or physical. How did it happen? We have a complete description of it in the arrival of Narad from paradise to Ashwapati's palace in Madara. He is coming from the very opening lines of the book of Fate. Narad is coming from his home in paradise, and then he is passing through silent places, and then he is entering into bright air, and then the sunlight. He sees below a myriad suns glowing, and then he sees ether, air, fire, water, and earth. So by that process, this spiritual body of Narad is undergoing a gross transformation to take a physical form. You see. So basically, it is the process of Sankhya by which the spiritual can become material. You see. Now, you see, you must have heard of the stones being thrown continuously for a couple of days in the guest house, you see, constantly. Some magic was there, and there were real stones there and coming and falling. And then the whole place was full of stones at that time, you see. That magician was playing a mischief, you see. Now, how did that happen? Where from those stones come? How they materialize? Where from they come? Now there, it is the vital aspect of consciousness which takes a material form. It is the materialization of the vital. In other words, had I been there, it was in the guest house, next door to the guest house, the laboratory. I would have taken one of those stains and analyzed what kind of elements are present in it, whether they are the chemical elements we know or not, you see. But they had to be chemical elements as we know, you see. They had to be. The whole process of materialization is the vital is taking a physical form by the process of Sankhya. You see, vital is taking physical form. In the case of Narad, it is the spiritual body of Narad which is assuming a gross physical body and is coming with his instruments and dancing and singing and enters into the palace, you see. Now, that is the picture here. Now, that is the atomic void by the process of Sankhya. So, for long before us, solid waste was formed. Solid, that is Narad's gross body, you see. By the technique of the atomic void, a lucent envelope of self-disguise was woven around the secret spirit in things. So, basically, even before it starts materialization, it already starts assuming a certain kind of a sheath, preparing itself for this process. The subtle realms from those bright sheaths are made. Bright sheaths are made. The subtle realms, I am man, from those bright sheaths, spondy, are made, I am.